Okay, here we
Hello,
are.
y'all. Christian White, the One Day at a Time Dad, presenting Listening to Learn, a series designed to discover solutions to community issues through the voices of lived experience. I'm here with Santos.
Hello.
My pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Okay.
So I first met this brother on a panel that a mutual friend, Dennis Preacher, had put on out in Haverhill. And I think what I appreciate is that you know how to talk. A lot of people don't know how to talk. I've noticed that.
You think I know how to talk?
Absolutely. You may not think it, but everyone else does. So that's all that matters.
Wow.
Let me ask, what was it like inside of your home growing up and outside of your home growing up?
Inside my home, you know, your typical mother. I live with my mom's. My little brother, he was real young.
What's a typical mom?
You know, your typical single mother. My mom was, my mom's liked to party, but she always had a job. She always took care of us. But she wasn't your average, like, mom. She literally hanged out. Everybody knew her on the block. Like, I got away with so many things just because they knew that was my mom's. And she wasn't to be played with.
Was she a young mom?
Well, when she had me, she was 20.
Oh, okay.
So she wasn't like... You know
oh, no,
I mean?
definitely. We know younger.
Yeah, so she wasn't young. No, not at all. But so it was... Like I always say, though, if it wasn't because of the way my mom raised me, I would have not been able to survive the things that I've been able to survive.
And where were you growing up during this time?
New York City, New York.
Okay.
Washington Heights. I was up there from 6 all the way to 18. I came out here when I was 18, 19. I was born in the Dominican Republic. Came to New York when I was 6. So, you know, it was, you see everything in the streets. The drug dealers. I was raised in Washington Heights, so this is the 80s. So, you know, New York with the drugs in the 80s was like, 80s and early 90s. There's nothing that you didn't see out there.
Yeah. So,
but sometimes you don't even think about all of that. As your life goes on, and when you start learning and review and rewinding your life, because some people don't even have the chance and the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
They don't rewind their life. They don't look back to see, you know.
I think about that. So did you become involved with the streets?
Oh, yeah. Everything that I did was just because I like being in the streets. Every single thing you could think of. It wasn't that I wanted to be rich. I just did what dudes in the streets did. I'll sell drugs because dudes in the streets sell drugs. I rob people, dudes in the streets rob people. You know, everything you do in the streets. So it was just, I didn't have a goal. You know, you got dudes out there that are selling drugs, and these dudes have a goal. This is their job. They take things different.
Yes. Good point.
You know what I mean?
Good point. Absolutely.
So I never took it like that. Sometimes I tell people, like, I say sometimes, yo, don't think that I came out here looking for the American dream. Like, some people get confused with that. Because where I'm from in New York, you know, the Dominicans, they come, they sell a lot of drugs, and these dudes go back to their country. So sometimes it was like your average person back in the days out there, if you was Dominican, you was a big time drug dealer. That's what automatically.
That was the stereotype.
So even nowadays, when I go to the feds, and they'll be like, oh, you Dominican, and then with the feds, they think you got money. And it makes, you know what I mean? Nah,
and by feds, you mean federal penitentiary?
Yeah, federal penitentiary.
When did you go there? Why did you go there? How much time did you have to do?
Well, I went in there in February of 2004. They originally sentenced me to 22 years.
Wow.
For, because they hit me with, it was a Larry King case. It was a gang case. It was drugs, guns. But I couldn't even go to trial because they had me on camera. So I had to do an open plea. So if I would have went to trial and lost by me being a career criminal, I could have got a life sentence.
Yes.
So I literally had to, like, take 22 years
Yeah.
and be happy with it. And then the funny thing is this, that when you're in the federal system, when you come back with 10 or 15 years, you okay.
Yeah.
So now, like the 20 years that I got, it's like, okay, you know, because 20 is almost a life now.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you get anything under 20, dudes come back with a smile.
Yeah, isn't it crazy?
It's psychological.
It is psychological. Thank you for that 15 years. Like,
isn't it insane?
It's more than insane. Yes.
How do we go out, and then the thing is,
and we become used to that.
Well, because it's the thing that, you know why? Because we have to prepare ourselves mentally to be able to survive.
That's a good point.
Because if not, you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of dudes do it there.
Yes.
They kill themselves.
Yes.
They get involved with homosexuals. They get involved with heavy drugs.
Yep.
Dudes literally try to kill themselves every single day.
Yes. Agreed. Totally agreed. What was your time like? How did you do your time?
Oh man.
I guess from beginning to end, because I'm assuming it ended differently than it started.
Oh yeah. But just imagine, I'm doing 22 years. I'm 27 years old. Just turned 27. Literally a couple of days before they arrested me. Who's gonna tell me anything? I got this anger inside of me, and it's not to say, oh, you know, I'm a tough guy, because I'm not a violent person at all. But your mentality is this: I don't care about nothing right now.
Yeah.
And I was like that for like the first 3 years. That's why I ended up all the way in the penitentiary in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh wow.
And so I'm there. Dudes are getting stabbed and killed. So you gotta. But that's why I say that. It's sad to say, but I always connect that to the upbringing of my moms.
In what sense?
My mom's is tough, bro. My mom's is no joke. Like, she was a woman that you ever meet a girl and she will literally beat a dude up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For real, so. And she was a good-looking woman, so, and it wasn't like she was a bunch.
Yeah. So people were shocked.
Exactly. Like, look at her right here. So, you know what I mean?
Who's this pretty woman that just beat my ass?
She raised me real tough. But she was bad in a way and good. She used to hit me a lot. But I never looked at, when I used to, you know, you're a kid, so you never, for some reason, I never felt a certain way about my mom's, like, she fucking abused me. Like, now I know, that a lot of the things she did was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hold nothing against her for it, because she probably didn't know what else to do.
And I think I'm just beginning to learn. So like, I know my mom and dad are alive. I don't reach out to them, and we haven't had a relationship in years. But I've at least reached a point where I know they did the best they could. Well, and I've had to accept that.
Well, you know, my old head taught me one time, he says, you can never condemn your mother for what she did, because you don't know why she did it according to the condition she was in.
Exactly. And like you said, as kids, you don't see that. You can't see that. Yeah. But as you get older, you start to be like,
yeah, it's like me with my son now.
She went through a lot of what I went through. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, that's a perfect example. What kind of dad are you? Oh, what's your style?
I don't know if I even got a style.
How old do you have? One child, two? What are their ages?
I only got one.
Okay.
17.
I know. Hey, I know all this. They don't know it. I know. Looking at you. They don't know it.
You're acting crazy now. I got a son, 17. Well, I just joke with him a lot.
Yeah.
I'm aggressive, of course, because that's how I am naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So I just talk loud. But you might think I'm mad, but I ain't. I just talk loud. I'm passionate.
Does your son know about your past?
Yeah.
How does he respond?
Well, he don't know. There's certain things he don't know.
I mean, maybe not everything, but I'm assuming he knows you went to prison.
Well, yes, because I used to always talk to him while I was in prison a lot. But what I mean is, like, he knows certain things, but you know, sometimes I'm telling stories. So one time I said to him, yo, I got arrested for this. So he looked at me. He was like, oh, yeah? I got arrested for an attempted murder. So now he knows I've been in jail,
Yes.
the gang thing, but he don't know details, or not even details of certain stories like that. He heard me saying it to my friend, and he looked at me, he says, that I never, I said, there's a lot of things about me you don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That with only with time, you know what I'm saying? Because he knows that when I tell him my stories about what I've done, is so you could know that I've been there and done that. He's smart enough to know I'm not bragging.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good... How do you know he's smart enough to not know you're bragging?
Because we talk, he knows me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
We already got that established. Like, we just so much the same that I laugh. And I tell him all the times, I say, you only 17 and you like that now? I said, you imagine when you're 25, you're going to be way worse than me.
Yeah.
Because we, you know, so when he listens to my stories, he knows why I'm saying it. I tell him, you know.
And do you think that communication with him is important?
Oh, yes, most definitely. You know what I mean? Oh, most definitely, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I
won't like, I tell you, because I like doing things naturally. So it's not like I don't grab him and sit him down and be like, son. Like, of course, sometimes he might do something and you might want to talk to him there, but that's like, yo, stop doing that. What are you doing that for?
Yes.
Stop acting crazy.
Absolutely.
You know, all the time.
Absolutely.
But then when it's like life, the best lessons that he's going to learn is that when we just chilling and we just talking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's so, we do a lot of that, you know, we in the house. So we talk about everything. So you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think those are the best times. As far as the teaching lessons. It's never a school setting.
So what is different about the way you parent your son and the way your mom parent you?
I really can't tell. I really can't, because remember, I've been living with him here for a little over a year.
Okay.
So we've been together over a year. I just came out last year. So, well, I don't hit him. That's one thing.
Why not?
Because there's no need to. What am I gonna hit him for?
I agree.
There's no need for me to hit him.
Someone had actually asked me that before, and I'm like, I don't hit anybody to get my point across. Why would I hit my own child to get my point across?
Exactly. It's like,
it just didn't. It doesn't make sense to. I mean, people do whatever they do. I mean, they feel like that's their kid. They can do whatever they want.
Well, I'm saying, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason I say this is because of this. If a kid is, I don't see nothing wrong, me personally, with a child, 1 year old, a baby, you know, and you know how they do something or they grab something and you go like this. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now, when the kid is getting older and he comprehends the dialogue more, then we talk to him more. So even when you do hit a kid as a baby, I've been taught, and it's funny because my mom used to beat up, and I'll see her go like this to my little brother and little sister. Drop that. And I'm like, really?
Like, what makes me so different? Yeah.
But anyway, now that he's older,
So your mom knew that you were out in the street, like she was.
No, listen to me. You remember that song, Mama Looking in the Bedroom, right there?
Yes.
I used to literally make a fake body, and I'm in New York. I'm going right out the fire escape because the fire escape is right in my room. I'm 11. I'm going out there to the streets. I'm coming back at 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm in the streets. And I would literally sometimes just go out there just to hang out on the block.
Yeah. I understand that. I used to do that too. I used to do it too. Just to hang out.
Just to hang out.
It is the psychology we talk about all the time.
But so, like, what makes you do that at such a young age? Is the household that bad?
And yes, I sometimes wonder if it's like, so I always felt that my family in the house was different than my family outside. Like, I felt like I had 2 different families. I felt like my family in the house was just fucked up. Like, I didn't like it, so I wanted a different family. The streets was another way of a family.
But you live with a. See, because like I told you, with me, it was just really me and my mom's for like the first 5 years. Because my little brother was a baby. So he wasn't. So that's what I mean. Like, my household wasn't that bad besides the beating. And I'm not going to lie, when it came to clothes and stuff like that, I had the worst. But I used to just leave and go to the streets, and I don't know why sometimes. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I know what you mean.
I used to literally just be out there all the time. And my mom used to ask me. And I'd be like, I like being in the streets, Mom.
How'd she answer that?
She just look at me.
So at what point did she stop hitting you? At what point was it like, this isn't going to work on me anymore?
When I was like 15, 16 already. I caught my first juvenile bed at like 14, 15. Did like 8 months. And she just stopped hitting me. She kind of like said, that's it, it's too much.
Interesting.
He's a grown man. I started selling drugs. I started going out to Virginia. Got locked up over there as a kid. I've done a lot of prison time, you know. I did those 15 straight, and I probably did like before that off and on like another 8 to 10.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
43.
Yeah. When you were inside not the last time, but when you did the stretch, after the 3, once you calmed down, I guess, what did your time look like? Like, what did calming down mean? What were you learning new things? Did you learn about a mentor? I mean, anything like.
Well, when I was in prison now?
Yeah. When you first did when you did the 15 straight.
Yeah.
Once you calmed down, like the first 3 years, after that, how did you do your time?
Oh, after I calmed down, it was what I mean was I was able to, you get your routine going. Your mind starts settling in. I'm gonna be here for a while. You start looking for advantages to make your time better.
Yes.
Now this is according to if you ever snap out of it. Some dudes don't snap out of it.
Yeah. I know dudes that have been wilding for 20, 30 years, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like you got dudes that wild out, and then you got the dudes that wild out when they have to.
Yes.
I was one of the individuals that I'm not gonna do nothing unless I have to, because I know what I'm gonna do to you. And
I'm glad you said that, because I explain to people that sometimes you don't do anything because you know what you can do.
Exactly. And then you're looking at what's going on, and you's like, this is not even worth it.
Yes.
And then, when everything is this, like the individual don't even know what he's getting into. You don't know what's on my mind.
Yes.
The same way I respect other people. I don't know what's on that individual's mind, so you gotta always, approach them cautiously. You don't know what this person's thinking. You in there in the worst environment you could ever think of.
Yeah, especially when it's breakfast time, meal time. Well, there's very specific times where you need to be more on point than normal.
The thing with the feds is that you have everybody from all over the country. And not all over the country, all over the world. You got the terrorists in there, some Somalian pirates. So some of these dudes' mentality is really, it's really messed up.
Yeah.
These are dudes that I would really call like killers.
Yes.
And I don't be like the dudes that are on the block shooting people. I be dudes that this is what they do.
This is what they do. Absolutely.
So that mentality is in there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So
the mentality's in there.
Have you met people who were stone cold killers, all that, but you've learned a lot from them?
Oh yes, man. Because at the end of the day, they're the calmest ones.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yo, because look, I'm talking about this because this is talking a little bit about the street life. And this is the thing that you see in there. An individual goes in there, and he's in there for a murder. So he tries to use that because he shot somebody and killed them. So if you could see the dudes, you know, certain dudes are like, oh, where are you here for murder? And certain dudes right away will give them that respect. But certain dudes, they don't. It's my old head told me. He said, bro, somebody that is really a person that is out there killing people does not get locked up for killing somebody.
Yeah.
You got locked up because you went and you shot somebody and you got caught. So now you're not a killer. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about the street life because everybody's out here confused with all this and giving props and respect to people with things that they shouldn't give respect to.
Agreed.
And then, you know, and when it comes with everything in life.
Tell me about the mentor that you met in prison.
Oh man.
How did you form that relationship? And what does it mean to you?
You got a napkin? Jesus, no, God did that. Alright. So look, right? I used to always go to the Nation of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to go and I used to hear this voice go, listen, listen, and go, work call. So I'm like, so I'm going every Friday.
Yep, for Jumu'ah, yep.
Yeah, every Friday I would. I've been doing this since 2008. So the fourth Friday, it's been like a month. I said, let me put a face to this voice. So when I look back, it's an old dude, an old black dude. And we make eye contact, and in my mind, I'm like this crazy old.
Yeah.
So I go back to the unit. Bro, 2 days later, I was on the tier looking in front of myself. So he walks in with his cart, with all his property. So I'm like, this shit is crazy. So he walks in, so they're gonna put him in this cell right there, in the bottom tier. So the kid that's next to me is a kid from Washington, D.C. So over there, the politics, everybody has their own cell. So this kid from Washington, D.C. is here by himself because he went in there just to hold the cell down.
What do you mean, hold the cell?
Okay, like this cell right here,
yeah,
it's like everything that the cells are property.
Oh, that is a Washington, D.C. cell.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So like in the state, we have tables.
Exactly.
But I didn't know that that's interesting. I never knew that. I never heard that.
To me.
Interesting.
Realistic.
Interesting.
So he goes, this kid goes home, so he moves in there to make sure that nobody else goes in that cell.
Yes.
So when the old man comes in, he's going into the kid's cell with the kid's cellmate. So the kid from DC says, no, brother Mo, come up here by yourself and I'm going to go back down to my cell.
Ah.
So now when I'm looking at this.
He was holding it down for him. He knew.
No, because brother Mo's from Baltimore. He didn't know. Ah. He just says, this is an old head, let me put him up here by himself.
Oh, he was just showing respect.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And they know him. Everybody knows brother Mo.
Got it.
So when I'm like, holy shit, and then he puts him right next to me. So we in the vent, bro. So now every morning when I wake up, this old man is there on the railing. So you know, we putting out the chairs, we watching the news. So we just started talking. So I'm a real spiritual person, right? Mm-hmm. So, but when I say this, get what I say. When I tell you that I was with Jesus, listen to me, man. This man was unbelievable with everything. He was doing 25 years. As a matter of fact, I think he came home right now. I got his name, I gotta find him. But I was with him for 3.5 years. He was there with me. So even when we used to go on lockdowns, we used to talk through the phone. So it was just like, I wrote speeches that he helped me write. He always used to tell me when I used to say a story, he used to say to me, it's funny that you say that because you and him are the only persons that ever said that. He says to me, yo, you know how good you talk?
Yeah, man, I figured that out fast.
And I listen to me. I never in my life thought that. I always thought that when I talk, people didn't understand me.
I get what you mean.
Listen, my whole life, when I used to talk, I used to be like, yo, do these people even understand what I say?
Did that stop you from talking at all?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was wondering about that.
No.
Okay.
Now that you say that, I think that unconsciously, that's why I probably talk good. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Now that I hear you guys telling me that, because I always felt people didn't understand me. So you guys are telling me how good I talk.
Yeah,
and I said,
I knew that right away.
So he used to always tell me that. He says, yo, you need to talk. He says, you need to write a book. He said, you know, because we say stories, so. But he was a teacher, bro. He was a teacher all around the board. Like, yes, bro. He dedicated his life to that. He has 7 daughters. You know, some of them, they went to school in Cuba, very educated. They surgeons. Yeah. I'm most definitely going to see him soon. Yeah. He's, yeah. When you read the Bible, and, you know, according to how you interpret it about Jesus, that's who he was.
I love hearing that. You know what it is? Because for me, it's like, that's a real living example. And I like that. I think people sometimes have this impression that, you know, they group all of us in prison together. Like a civilian looks at everybody in prison that would deserve to be there. There's whatever the case may be. They don't understand that we end up in certain places a lot of times because there was a lack of real choices. I mean, is it sell crack or sell weed? Would you rather do?
The thing is this, it's like, you're right, but it's that it's not even a lack of real choices. It's that you don't, like, people say that word and say, well, you had a choice. All right, listen to me. You say that, but you really don't know what you're saying. Yes. And it lets me understand you don't understand the dynamics of why everything is going on now. Everything that's going on when it comes to us, the people of color, it's been a design that's been created.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's not nothing that just happened overnight. It's something that's been done for hundreds of years.
Yes.
When you talk from slavery to everything, to when they build the projects. Look at the language. Like, let's be common sense. It's a project. They put projects, and let's say they put all these people of color in here, like sardines. What else you think is going to come of that? Yeah,
and what's crazy is they do studies on this, where they pack rats into a place, mice into a place, they end up killing each other, and it's so predictable.
So do you think it's a coincidence that in every major city where it's populated by people of color that has the biggest projects, from the ones that they knocked down in Chicago, to the ones in New York, to the ones in Houston, to the ones in Boston? Why is that? It's a design. It's been there.
Yes.
Now, so that's why sometimes I don't like talking to people. Because, and I say it this way, because you know how you're talking to somebody and you already know that you know that you could disagree with a person and have a problem. But you already know, though, when somebody comes and their mind is already made up and they have a way of thinking that you ain't gonna change. Not at that time, or even the things you say to them. There's no way they're gonna comprehend.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I come across that all the time.
So now, me, because of the person that I am, and being all that time in prison, how do you think some of my conversations is with some of these individuals out here?
It's hard. Like, you know what? So I was just talking with a brother about I just think of like comedy. The shit that we laugh at on the street and in prison is very different than what regular civilians joke about. It's very different. It's much more violent. I think it's much more violent in a way. The way I find so much shit funny that other people would be like, why aren't you in jail right now? Like, you're laughing at in terms of the way we perceive things.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's always interesting to me how that works. But yeah, you're right. You could be talking to somebody and they're just like, they already have it in their head, this whole conclusion, and it's like, nah, I'm trying to teach you something. Listen for a second.
It's, you know, they try to define something so by, like, They don't, they don't care to dig, to look how that happened,
Yes.
why.
Yes, absolutely.
They see it, then they find it, and they keep it moving. Like, that's it. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
Not knowing there's so
Absolutely.
much more to it.
And I mean, it's a Band-Aid, man. So many people want to just put a Band-Aid on something instead of like trying to do surgery, man. Like we need surgeons out in these streets right now.
Yeah, it's for that mind.
Yes.
Mental, you gotta get
What is your
revolution?
What is your perspective on mental health?
Oh my God.
Especially like in your community, what you've seen in prison, all of that.
Well,
When did you realize mental health was like a real thing?
I've been through it with a family member.
But when you were going through it, did you know words like depression and stuff like that already?
I knew the words, but I didn't have a full grasp of the meaning. Not at all, no. Because at the end of the day, it was something that I didn't even think it existed.
Got it.
Because when we used to be depressed, we'd go smoke a blunt, drink a 40.
Yep.
We don't know we're doing it because we're depressed. We
Yes,
think we're
yes,
doing it because
we
we're
would
bored.
yes, absolutely, 100%.
So I went with a family member and it crushed me. And it wasn't even something that, it was bad, but it wasn't where like, this person's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
No medication or nothing. But it was, I was there, I seen how it was treating him with the schizophrenia, with mad different things. So it really hurt me, it crushed me. So I always knew, that's why I say, yeah, I know this there. And then of course after going to prison, you see it, bro.
Yeah.
You see
Let's be clear. You see it.
Okay. You see it, but this is the thing. Look what they do to us. Look what they do to us. They go, right? And they put us in prisons. So now, 60% of the individuals in prison, they belong in mental institutions.
Yes.
They don't belong in prison.
Nope.
So what they do, they go and they drop mental patients and they put us to babysit them.
I hope y'all are paying attention. Yes, I hope y'all pay attention to that.
So now, what is going to happen to you when you have individuals like us and you have mental patients around us that we have to babysit?
I was at a camp, right? We were in the chow line, and it was a mix of what you're talking about. Out of nowhere, the dude in front of me just takes his tray and smashes dude in front of him. No, in my mind, no reason at all. He must have had
probably
a reason.
just wanted to go to the hole.
Yes.
He said,
Yes.
some dudes just want to get out and go to the hole. He said, man, I'm out of here. Or he
I'm
probably
outta
owes
here.
some money, whatever. But, so now, if I'm there 15 years. I'm surrounded by mental patients. So now,
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. They rub off on us.
what else is going to happen to us,
And we rub
bro?
off on... you know what? I've really never thought about that
Bro.
aspect of it.
Hey,
I never thought
Chris,
about that. Yeah.
You in a cubicle with 120 dudes
Yes.
long.
Yes. I never thought about that.
So now when you wake up, this dude is nuts. This dude's a killer. This dude's whatever. So you gotta literally deal with all these individuals. So how you gonna tell me when you're an individual that survives all that? Come on, man. Now we come out of there scarred.
Absolutely. And no matter, I believe no matter what, you come out of there.
Of course,
scarred.
bro.
No matter what.
Of
man.
course
no matter
you do.
what. And
Because you're in a non-natural environment.
Yes.
And this is the thing this is the thing my old head taught me. He said to me like this. He says to me, you know what's the worst thing? That prison? And he said, I'll say what? He said, you're not going to believe this. The worst thing you could do to a man is keep him away from a woman. Because remember, that's natural to us. Plain and simple, whichever way you want to look at it, we was born to be with a woman. So now, when you're in this situation all these years, do you understand the stress that is that you can't relieve yourself with a woman? But we don't understand that. That's one of the biggest mental stress in prison, but we don't know that Because we don't understand how natural it is for us to be with a woman.
Yeah, I never thought about that part.
Of course,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
brother.
Yeah.
But you know, come on, let's be for real. You know how many times I used to just want to talk to a woman just to hear the voice?
Well, I mean, we see it all the time. Dudes will go to the nurse line. Dudes will get on meds just to I mean, we see it all the time.
Yeah, so these are the dudes, you know, that...
And you know what? I'm glad you said that, because it takes away some of the stigma of dudes just being creepy. A lot of times it's not creepy.
Bro, how am I creepy?
They just no, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, but you're right.
There are creepy people. Don't get it messed up. There are creeps. Yes.
But like you said, this like come on, a whole bunch of my boys used to do it. They'll go over there just to talk to the nurse. Now, if there's something wrong that this man want to go and talk to the woman to see her smile when he's been in jail 15, 20 years, and you're gonna call me a creep? You the creep that don't want me to. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. No, that's a great perspective.
On,
that's a great perspective.
That right there takes a toll.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
Right there takes a toll on you.
Absolutely.
It takes a toll. So we dealing with everything. Everything about prison is unnatural. Every single thing. One time I got into a thing. So my son's mother says to me, "Oh, your son didn't say this to you because he don't want to hurt your feelings." This is on the email, right? So when I'm in my cell, I'm thinking about that. And I'm thinking in my mind, hurt my feelings. There's nothing he could do to me that's gonna hurt my feelings. I'm in here being dehumanized every single moment. Day.
Yeah.
From the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep, I'm being literally dehumanized.
And I don't think... I think society has this perception where it's like, okay, they want people to pay for their crime. Fine. But people don't understand that inside world, man. Like, people look at like what's going on with cops, and they don't even think about the whole other side of law enforcement. That's COs, that's the prison system, that's the DOC, the federal system. They don't really understand how we're affected.
Well, some of the, a lot of these COs, these dudes, they're not trained. They're savages themselves.
They have a high school diploma or a GED.
But so you know what I mean? So they're just there. They're just there to watch over us.
That's it.
Because at the end of the day, they know nothing good is gonna come out of us being there, and of course they're making money.
And that's the part that always bothered me, is that it's clear that and people can look at me, well, you went to prison, you turned out good. I did that. Prison didn't do that. Prison tried to.
Because they thought that you.
Yeah.
Okay,
prison tried to destroy me.
Because a lot of them really believe this.
Yes. Absolutely.
They really believe.
They do believe it. And I used to get shocked, like, you can believe something like that, but they do.
No, they don't even have a clue that the only, like you said, you did that.
Yes.
And you was able to do that going against all those odds.
Yes. Absolutely.
So so that makes it even more. That's why sometimes, like, I've been learning, because I don't like being conceited or nothing, but sometimes I'll be like, fuck that. I'm like that. I know this. I know that. Why not?
I am too. I do that too.
Because sometimes you can't always hold yourself back.
Absolutely.
Bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's this. Some of us we like that because we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, because everybody gets their feelings so hurt easy. Yo, bro, I don't like your shirt.
Why don't you like my shirt?
I said I don't like your shirt. Not that I don't like you.
But my shirt's on me.
I don't like that shirt.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
So now, bro, but that's what it is. So it's not wrong. Sometimes, and you know, I do it with my family because they know how I am. So when I say something crazy, they know that's me.
Yes.
And I like being like that around them, because fuck that. That's how I am, man. Sometimes you try to hide yourself too much.
Yes.
You don't want to offend nobody. You don't want to seem too aggressive. You don't want to seem too laid back.
And I think that's probably one of the best things about a good support system, is you can be you.
Yeah.
You can be you. So let me ask, How was it? How were you able not love your wife or love your girl? How did you develop relationship love after being away for so long, after being in the streets? How did you come to learn how to be in a relationship and be accountable to your partner?
Well, with my son's mother, we was together before I went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, after I got her that time, she moved on. She got married, she had another kid. So I never took it as, I never stopped loving her because of that. Because for me, you know, I love her, that doesn't mean that we have to be together. For you, it's like, that's why people get it confused. They think that for you to love another woman, it's like you have to be sexually involved with her.
Yes.
For some reason, and I see that a lot, people think that way. So we always kept in touch, you know what I mean, because of my son, and we had a good relationship. We was good friends. There was no need for us to be, of course there was times that we argue. I mean, you know what I mean? But, so I got out and things just went the way they went, and we ended up, it was easy for us to get back together. It was like we never even, I don't know, it was like we never missed a beat.
Meant to be.
But she was married and everything, so it's like, I don't know, what is it, real love? True love?
I guess so.
Whatever.
Meant to be. That's how I look at it. It's just meant to be.
15 years later.
How much of prison do you still live out here?
A lot.
Yeah. Even after 5 years, I still find myself like doing certain things. Like sometimes I'll spit in the toilet instead of the sink.
Oh yeah, because you know this, but those are good habits in a way. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, but there's certain things that, like, I could be in that house, that quarantine.
Loving it,
bro.
And people get it messed like,
Nah,
you know,
it's sad to
I
say,
see like people post stuff like, oh, you know, I'm doing time right now, and man, motherfucker, you ain't doing no time right now.
My son one time, he says to me, he tell me, he was like, damn. He said, Dad, you did like 15 years of quarantine. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. But, so I mean, like that, like I could go without talking to nobody. When it's things that you pick up in there. I could literally go without talking to nobody.
Yes.
I could literally go, it's stuff like that, you know what I mean?
And what's interesting is, it's nothing personal. You're not mad, nothing. It's a habit you pick up.
Fucking the anti-social shit that you pick up in there, I guess, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And you just be like, right?
Absolutely. Of course. I mean, I wish I could really help people that don't truly understand that.
See the little bullies?
Yeah, I do.
Those are nice.
Those are like the British Bulldogs from back in the days.
Those are bullies, though.
Those are pits, right?
Yeah, the little bullies, the little...
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that's what they were called.
Yeah, bullies, yeah.
How much do those cost?
Oh,
those are expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, you could get for 1,000 to 4,000.
Well, I guess I won't be having no bully.
I think those are the ones from down the street from where I live. Yeah.
So what do you do now? Where are you hoping to be?
But I really just like, there's a lot of things I want to do and accomplish, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to get caught up on trying to fill my plate with too many things, because I really don't need much to enjoy life.
I think you made a really good point just now about overwhelming yourself.
Yeah.
Like I've even done that.
Because remember, I was locked up all this time. I'm 43 years old, so I could catch myself saying, oh, I want to catch up. Because remember, I haven't done a lot of things. So now, you know, it's like, you want a house, a lot of things that I want. And I catch myself having all these things going through my mind. And they give me anxiety. So I think just that, slowing everything down, because I don't really need much to enjoy life, you know what I mean? So that's probably the best thing.
Absolutely. I guess
you see, like
totally
when I be seeing
that.
you and you be posting on things when you be going for the walks and stuff like that. That's things that nobody out here even does. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even understand how important that is.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's part of why I do all this, to raise awareness, especially for like brothers like us, sisters like us, because something that I learned is so many people look at people in prison like they're not human. And it's like, and what people don't think about is 90% of the people locked up will be coming back home to your neighborhood. So, you know, and so it's like one of the struggles I struggle with, like, is getting services for myself at my age. Like, there's nowhere that helps 40-year-old men.
Oh, no.
You know, if you're not 25 and under, they chalk you off. And you know, that's something that I really try to bring, because so many men getting out from prison. I mean, yeah, you can give us some food stamps, you can give us a care package, but that's not helping us.
Especially for our age.
Especially for the older ages.
Because at the end of the day, it's even worse, because you ain't trying to be in nobody's apartment while they help you out. No matter who it is. You want to be you want to be more independent. So, and you already know, to even get an apartment out here, and a person coming out of prison, clothes, an apartment, ID, license,
credit.
Come on, man.
I got lucky in that my landlord wanted to rent the place, and so I could pay cash. But otherwise, I needed credit, you know, and I wouldn't have had that unless I had a co-signer, somebody to say, like, I wouldn't have had that.
Oh, you couldn't even get the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's man, dudes is coming out here to being homeless with everything they just experienced.
So
and they tell you, and they tell you, be good.
Then besides be good, you got the PO telling you to be good, and he's like all over your back.
Yeah. And they want you to have an address. Like, do you want the shelter address? Because that's about. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's bad. It's rough.
So last question. Let me ask. What do you think could be done to slow down some of the neighborhood violence?
Neighborhood violence?
Yes.
It has to start from the individuals that know better. It's instilling in these kids' minds, because they have a misconception of what about. I don't know if it was you or what a real one is, a real person.
It could.
This man, my man, he mad real. That they have a misconception about what being mad real is.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. So until you don't start instilling that, or what into these kids' minds, it's not gonna change. That's what has to happen. So the kids that are growing up in these streets would start practicing that. That's what it is. And it's gonna take a lot of time.
Absolutely.
Because the condition that we in now, it took years for it to be, you know what I mean, Willie Lynch.
Yeah.
Even from back then. Just think about that. Listen to me, right? And I want to say that one day, hopefully, I'm gonna write something about it. There's no way. It's impossible. This is my hardcore opinion. I will die of this. It's impossible for this country to change, or for anything in this country to change, unless you go back and you dig deep into how this country was created. And no, we're not gonna start in the 50s. You gotta go back to then. Go back and study everybody that had to do with everything when it came to doing this country. And then you're going to see where the problem is at. The problem is not in the people. The problem is in the people that keep trying to force this system on us.
Yes.
So now, another question. Insanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
To when, every time a cop kills a black man,
Mm-hmm.
they riot, they do this. This has been going on since the 50s.
Yes.
So now, no disrespect. Are we fucking insane, bro?
Yes.
Are we gonna keep doing the same stupid shit? So now, we say we smart. Insanity. Why are you guys doing the same shit again? Those, excuse my language.
I know what
it
you're
gets
saying.
me
Yeah,
mad.
I know exactly what you mean.
So are we all insane? So what makes you think that we're gonna come and burn a few stores and no, you still got the same system. I don't give a fuck who you put in there.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear you say that. And it's just reality.
So that's why I don't even talk politics.
It's just reality. It's just reality. Like I hear people say, I want to dismantle the system and reform it. You can, if you dismantle it, you're going to reform the same pieces?
Because
you're going to make a different version of the
but
same
you know
system.
why is this? Because this is the thing. When I say the system, they still teaching the same things in law schools.
Yes. I know
so
exactly what
the
you're
mentality
saying.
is never going to change. You got to literally knock the system down. Break that shit down. Like, kill it.
Yes.
You kill it. It's a cancer.
Yes, it is.
So, come on,
and
bro.
it will never work. It's because it was not designed. You're not going to go midway and change the design. Right. It doesn't work. I can't go in you and change your DNA. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, I tell my son, and I tell to people, I try to do and put it as common sense. When black people and people of color were trying to go to school, what they was doing? They didn't want you there. So they telling you the system was not enough made for you. But why do you still keep trying to instill yourself in something that's not for you? Is everything against your nature? You still want to go and be there and be there and be there.
See, this is why when I say he can talk, he don't even realize he's schooling all of us right now. That's what I like. You don't even realize you're teaching right now. No, so, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
And you know, this was all taught to me by my own head. Like, he taught me things and I knew things. So it's about being a free thinker. I'm going to question everything you got to tell me. That's why sometimes when somebody says to me and I tell her something, and they'll be like, no, but I taught this. I say, well, when they told you that, then you questioned them because you questioned me now.
Yes.
But what did...
Yes. Are you questioning me because you think I'm not as good as you and they were better than you?
But because you think I'm just like, so you don't think...
Absolutely.
Who else are you going to get your knowledge from? Another man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And people fail to realize that.
Because even if you read it in a book, a man or woman wrote it. Either way, it doesn't matter.
That's everything you learn is from another man, another woman, another human being.
Absolutely.
We the ones that become teachers.
Yes. Yes.
So if I'm telling you this, it's because I know it. Why can't you believe me? I'm a man. I'm a human. I learn. I teach.
Santo, I love doing these.